inclement weather on the way, we understand. Joanna Donnelly is a meteorologist with Met Éireann. Joanna, what can we expect?
A big change. We've gotten so used to it being mild last few weeks, but over the weekend we've moved and now we're finishing up the move into the cold air. At the moment, there's rain out there at the moment, and that's going to turn to sleet and to snow, and not just over the hills and mountains, down to low levels across parts of the north and west of the country. And then we're in the cold air proper. So although when this rain goes through tomorrow, the sun's going to come out, and we haven't seen much sun for a while, but it's going to be sunny and really, really cold. Like daytime temperatures tomorrow are more like cold nighttime temperatures, 2 to 5 degrees in the afternoon tomorrow. So any precipitation falling into that is going to be sleet and snow once again. So we're into a much colder regime now for the next few days.
Yeah, and listen, it's mid-November. It shouldn't be a shock to people that it's cold. I think what's catching people by surprise is just how quickly it's going from mild to cold.
Yeah, that's it. I think people assume that in the weather here in Ireland, because they're mostly right, it gets gradually colder and gradually warmer, but we've been on a very distinct change of air mass. So a real divide between the warm air and the cold air. So it's going to be quite a shock. And I although we've been forecasting it for nearly a week now that this was going to happen, I think it's still going to come as a shock to a lot of people. Plus, it's going to get a bit tricky out there because there is sleet and snow, and we all know, I think at this stage we all know anyway, how tricky it is to get the right mix between forecasting sleet and forecasting snow. But we can expect there to be accumulations of snow over the next few days.
We had really, really mild autumn into winter last year. I mean, up until now, has it been unseasonably mild again?
Oh yeah, it's been about 4 degrees above the average for the last couple of weeks.
Joanna, some of my spring bulbs have come up.
Yeah, I know, mine too. My lilies for next year's lilies are up. So confusing weather for the garden. Temperatures well above normal for the time of year, and that goes into the ground, which also kind of stops the snow from sticking because the ground is a bit warm. But eventually that will even out because we are, as I said, much, much colder. And averaged over day and night, temperatures are now going to be 1 degree below average. So it's going to be, a big jump in going from
it's amazing.
T-shirts to sweatshirts.
Yeah, a lot of people would have been cutting the grass, getting the last cut last weekend. Absolutely. And as we say, spring bulbs up. And suddenly you're going to have to be wrapping your Japanese fatsias in fleece if you want them to survive the sudden change in temperature.
Yeah. I have a blanket for my camellia. That's
there
right.
You see, look, this is turning into a gardening advice slot unexpectedly. How long is this going to last, this cold snap?
At the moment, it looks like another. You see, when air masses change, we get rain. That's what happens. That's why we're getting rain at the moment, because the air mass is changing. So there's another air mass change at the weekend. So it looks like it might be wet and windy weather. And then we're on the edge. We're on the edge between cold air to the north and warm air to the south. So that wet and windy weather, when that goes through, we're either back into the cold air or back into the mild air, and it's too soon to tell at this point where that is, because that's a whole week away. But anyway, the cold air is with us out until Friday.
All right. Well, it's going to get cold, as Joanna says, very, very cold between now and Friday. So prepare accordingly and prepare the garden accordingly as well. Joanna Donnelly, meteorologist with Met Éireann.